There are crops you plant once that come back every year for decades, some for a century. Asparagus, 20 years from one planting. Rhubarb, 50 years. Sunchokes, forever. You literally can't kill them. Walking onions, they replant themselves, bending to the ground and rooting without you touching them. Kernza grain, plant once, harvest for 10 years, maybe longer. Some stands are still productive past year 10. No annual seeds, no tilling, no replanting, just harvest, year after year, generation after generation. For thousands of years, humans grew these crops. Then, in the 20th century, agriculture forgot. Industrial farming demands annual planting because seed companies need to sell seeds every single year. So, we rip up the soil, buy new seeds, plant, harvest, repeat. While perennial crops that could feed us for lifetimes sit in the margins, ignored because they break the business model. This is the story of 5 crops that replant themselves and the system that won't let them. Welcome to Nature's Forgotten Vault. Before we open this vault, if these stories matter to you, the best way to preserve this wisdom is simple. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share these vaults with those who need to remember what we forgot. Wheat is an annual. You plant in spring, harvest in fall. Plow the field, buy seeds. Repeat every year, forever. The soil erodes. Carbon escapes. You fertilize, spray, till again. Kernza is perennial wheat. You plant once, harvest grain for 5 to 10 years, maybe longer. Some stands are still productive past year 10. Here's why that's revolutionary. Roots, 10 feet deep. Wheat, 2 feet. Kernza taps ancient groundwater. It survives drought that kills annuals. It anchors soil so tightly that erosion drops 95%. Those roots store carbon permanently, 1 to 3 tons per acre annually. Wheat releases carbon from tilling. Dual use. Harvest forage, animal feed, in summer. Harvest grain in fall. 1 crop, 2 revenues. Farmers in Minnesota report $750 per acre total, grain, forage, and carbon credits. Wheat, $600 minus $300 in input costs. No replanting, no tilling. Fuel costs drop. Equipment wear drops 12 hours per acre annually. Kernza was developed by the Land Institute starting in the 1980s. By 2024, it's commercially available. You can buy Kernza beer, Sierra Nevada, Deschutes, Brooklyn Brewery, Kernza pasta, Patagonia provisions, Kernza flour, but only 3,000 acres are planted in the entire United States. Compare that to wheat, 46 million acres. Why so few? Because you buy the seed once. Seed companies make no money on year 2, 3, 4, 5. Fertilizer companies sell 50% less nitrogen because Kernza's deep roots mine nutrients from subsoil. Herbicide companies lose sales because Kernza outcompetes weeds naturally. The entire agricultural economy is built on annual sales. Kernza breaks it, so it's ignored. But Kernza is new. 40 years of breeding. The next crop has been feeding humans for 3,000 years and still almost no one grows it. Why? Because it's too easy. Sunchoke, Helianthus tuberosus, native to North America, grown by indigenous peoples for millennia. The Pilgrims ate it. French colonists brought it to Europe in the 1600s. It fed populations through famines. And you cannot kill it. Plant a sunchoke tuber. It grows 6 to 10 feet tall, bright yellow sunflower blooms. Underground, it produces tubers, knobby, potato-like roots packed with 75% inulin, a prebiotic fiber. Harvest in fall after the first frost. Dig up the tubers, eat them roasted, mashed, in soups. They taste nutty, slightly sweet, like a cross between potatoes and water chestnuts. But here's the magic. You will never harvest all of them. Any tiny piece left in the soil will sprout next spring. The plant is perennial. It spreads by rhizomes. Year after year, it comes back. bigger, stronger, more tubers. Farmers call it invasive. Gardeners plant it in containers or trash cans to control it, because if you plant sunchokes in the ground, you have sunchokes forever. 1 pound of tubers equals a lifetime supply. Plant once, harvest annually for decades, for centuries if you let it. Yield: 800 pounds of tuber over a plant's lifetime, which can be 150 years. Compare that to a cow: 400 pounds of beef in 2 years, then dead. Nutritionally, 12% protein, 22% fiber, 2 times calcium of milk, 2 times potassium of bananas, gluten-free, low-calorie, feeds gut bacteria, and it grows in poor soil, drought-tolerant, pest-resistant, requires almost no maintenance. So, why doesn't every farm, every garden, every homestead grow sunchokes? Because they don't fit the system. You can't sell seeds annually. You can't patent a tuber that replicates itself for free. Grocery stores don't stock them because consumers don't know what they are. Sunchokes could end food insecurity in marginal lands. They could feed populations through droughts. They could provide calories year-round with 0 inputs. But that doesn't generate profit. So they're sold as novelty vegetables at farmers markets for $6 a pound, while potatoes dominate global agriculture. Sunchokes spread too much. The next 2 crops don't. They stay exactly where you plant them for a half-century. Asparagus, Asparagus officinalis, Mediterranean native, cultivated for 3,000 years. Romans grew it, medieval Europeans grew it, colonial Americans grew it. Plant asparagus crowns, roots, wait 3 years. Don't harvest, let the plant establish. Year 4, harvest begins. Every spring, tender spears emerge from the soil. Snap them off at 5 to 7 inches. Eat them fresh. The harvest window is short, 6 to 8 weeks. But the yield is high. A mature asparagus bed produces 25 pounds per 100 square feet annually. And it lasts 20 to 30 years. Some beds productive for 50 years. Your grandkids will harvest from the bed you plant today. Asparagus requires almost no maintenance. Weed it, mulch it, cut back dead ferns in fall. That's it. No replanting, no fertilizing beyond occasional compost. It just comes back. Why isn't every home garden, every farm, every acre planted with asparagus? Because seed companies don't profit from 20-year crops. Because grocery stores can charge $4 to $6 per pound for fresh asparagus. If consumers had backyard beds, they wouldn't buy. Because commercial asparagus farming requires specialized equipment and small-scale growers can't compete with industrial operations in Peru and Mexico. But the real reason? Patience. Modern agriculture is impatient. Farmers need income this year, not in 3 years. Investors demand quarterly returns, not 20-year payoffs. The entire food system optimizes for speed, not longevity. Asparagus punishes impatience. Plant it, wait 3 years, harvest for 30. That model doesn't fit annual profit cycles. So, it's niche. Asparagus lasts 20 years. The next crop lasts even longer, and it's even easier.
Rhubarb, Rheum rhubarbarum, Siberian native, used in Chinese medicine for 5,000 years, brought to Europe in the 1700s, became a staple in American gardens by the 1800s. Plant rhubarb crowns. Year 1, let it grow. Year 2, harvest lightly, a few stalks. Year 3, full harvest. Spring through early summer, cut thick red or green stalks at the base. Leaves are toxic, discard them. Stalks are tart, packed with vitamin K, calcium, fiber. Use them in pies, jams, compotes, sauces. Strawberry rhubarb pie, rhubarb crumble, rhubarb sorbet. And rhubarb lasts 10 to 50 years. In the right conditions, longer. Some rhubarb beds are 100+ years old, passed down through generations. Maintenance: divide the crowns every 5 to 10 years to keep plants vigorous. Mulch in fall, remove flower stalks. they reduce stalk production. That's it. Rhubarb tolerates cold, hardy to zone 3. It grows in poor soil, it's pest-resistant, disease-resistant. Once established, it's unkillable. So why isn't rhubarb everywhere?
Same reason as asparagus. It doesn't fit the business model. Seed companies can't sell rhubarb seeds annually. You propagate from crowns, and one crown lasts 50 years. Grocery stores rarely stock fresh rhubarb because it's bulky, perishable, and unfamiliar to modern consumers. And culturally, rhubarb fell out of favor. In the 1950s to 1980s, processed foods dominated. Pies from scratch became rare. Younger generations never learned to cook rhubarb. It became grandma's vegetable. But rhubarb could be a climate solution. It thrives in cold regions where other crops fail. It provides spring harvests when little else is available. It sequesters carbon in deep taproots. Yet it's treated as a curiosity, a heritage crop, not a staple. Rhubarb sits still for 50 years. The final crop literally walks across your garden, replanting itself. Seriously, walking onions. Allium biproliferum. Also called Egyptian walking onions, tree onions, top onions. They're onions, but instead of flowers, they produce bulblets, tiny onion bulbs at the top of tall stalks. As the bulblets grow, they get heavy. The stalk bends over. The bulblets touch the ground. They root. New plants sprout. The onion walks across your garden. Plant walking onions once. They spread year after year. You harvest the underground bulbs like regular onions and the aerial bulblets, milder, great for pickling. The greens are edible. Use them like scallions. Walking onions are perennial, hardy to zone 3. They survive winters that kill everything else. They require zero maintenance, no fertilizer, no pest control. They just grow and walk and replant. Yield. One walking onion plant produces dozens of bulblets annually. Each bulblet becomes a new plant. Within a few years, you have a self-sustaining onion supply that expands without effort. Why aren't walking onions a global staple? Because they're too easy. You can't charge people for seeds that replant themselves. You can't build an industry around a crop that requires no inputs. Walking onions are gardener's crop, not commercial. They don't ship well. They don't store long-term like dry onions. And most people have never heard of them. But for homesteaders, permaculturists, anyone seeking food security, walking onions are a miracle. Plant once, harvest forever. Let them walk. Watch your onion patch expand on its own. 5 crops. Plant once, harvest for decades or centuries. So why are 99% of farms still planting annuals every year? The answer is simple: economics. Seed companies make money selling seeds every year. Monsanto, Bayer, Corteva, they profit from annual crops. Corn, wheat, soybeans. Every spring, farmers buy seeds. Every fall, they harvest and replant. The cycle repeats. Revenue repeats. Perennials break that cycle. Plant Kernza once, harvest for 10 years. Where's the seed sale? Plant asparagus once, harvest for 30 years. Where's the revenue? Walking onions replant themselves. What's left to sell? Fertilizer companies, pesticide companies, equipment manufacturers all profit from annual tillage, planting, spraying. Perennials need less fertilizer. Deep roots mine nutrients. Less pesticides. Established plants resist pests. Less equipment passes. No annual plowing. The entire agricultural supply chain is optimized for annuals. Grain elevators, processors, distributors, they're built for wheat, corn, soybeans. Not Kernza, not Sunchokes. And governments reinforce this. U.S. crop subsidies favor corn, wheat, soybeans. Annuals. Crop insurance covers annuals. Conservation programs reward cover crops, not perennial grains. Perennials are excluded by design. But the consequences of this system are catastrophic. Every year, industrial agriculture plows 300 million acres in the U.S. alone. Topsoil erodes 1.7 billion tons annually. Rivers clog. Farmland degrades. At current rates, Iowa has 50 years of productive soil left. Annual crops require synthetic fertilizers. Runoff creates dead zones.
The Gulf of Mexico dead zone, 6,000 square miles. Fish populations collapse, shrimp fisheries die. Cost $2.4 billion annually. Tilling releases carbon, 8% of global CO2 emissions from agriculture. Climate change intensifies droughts. Annual crops fail. Farmers go bankrupt. And we keep planting annuals because the system demands it. Perennials could reverse this. Kernza sequesters carbon. Sunchokes grow in marginal soils. Asparagus and rhubarb last generations. Walking onions spread without fossil fuels. But perennials don't fit the profit model, so they're ignored. 5 crops that replant themselves. 5 solutions to soil degradation, carbon emissions, food insecurity. 5 examples of agriculture that works with nature, not against. They're not new, they're not experimental, they're proven. Asparagus, 3,000 years. Rhubarb, 5,000 years. Sunchokes cultivated by indigenous peoples for millennia. We're not discovering these crops, we're rediscovering them, because for a century, industrial agriculture forgot. The answer to why are we still buying seeds is because the people selling seeds profit from forgetting. But you don't have to. Plant asparagus, plant rhubarb, plant Kernza if you can find it. Plant sunchokes and spend the next decade trying to contain them in a good way. Plant walking onions and watch them march across your garden, feeding you without asking permission. These crops don't need the system. They need you to remember, to plant, to harvest, and to share. If this vault opened something for you, subscribe to Nature's Forgotten Vault and hit the bell. Every like and every share preserves what they tried to erase or forgot. The next vault opens soon.